Journaling can be a great way to develop your writing practice, and it can really help you become a better writer. But there are some specific ways that you want to go about this and some specific things that you definitely want to avoid. So let's dive in. Right, today we're going to work on 2 specific journaling prompts. So grab your notebooks if you haven't already. We're going to be journaling together. I'm going to be setting the timer. We'll go for 2 minutes each time. Now, there are so many reasons that journaling can be a really great way to practice writing and a great way to improve. But it's important to understand that this isn't the goal that we have in mind. So I'm not specifically opening my journal saying, I want to be better. And it's really important to understand that. So this will become clear as we go through the video. I want for you to understand that your journal is a place for safe self-expression. This is so key if we want to improve, if we want to become a better writer, to really teach ourselves and often retrain ourselves to let it out, to not put up any barriers, to really express ourselves as we truly are. We've gotten so used to filtering ourselves because of what will others think. And so we need to know that our journal can be this safe place that we can just express ourselves exactly the way that we want. Now, I had a journaling practice. So this is several years ago now, and this was the journal that I use. So you can see this is or maybe you can't see, this is an old journal. So this is my current journal. And when I first began this writing practice, I was managing a retreat for writers, and I was writing at the time, but I'd had a real setback. So my career had gone really nicely as a short story writer. I'd had dozens of stories published. I won some really nice awards, and then I went to write a novel. And I found myself an agent, and then that novel was rejected, and I really took that badly. I really, really struggled, and it made things very difficult for me from then onwards. And so I knew that I had to find a way to get back into my writing and really build up my confidence. So I simply set myself the task of writing 1 page a day and writing about writing. Now, for me in this journal, it takes 15 minutes for me to write a page. So I knew that's all I had to do. I was going to spend 15 minutes and I was simply going to just pour my heart onto the page, but I was very specifically going to journal about writing. Now, I had no other aim other than that, to really find my way back into falling back in love with writing. But now in my Facebook community, Write No Matter What, we'll pop a link in the comments below. In my Facebook community, I will often do a Facebook Live and I will open up this journal and I will read a page from it. And this is because I know there are many people in the community who would really benefit in just getting an insight into how I was thinking about writing and some of the challenges and the struggles that I was experiencing. But if I'd known that at the time, I would have written a very different journal. So I want to really stress that point, that you want to know that your journal is a safe space where you get to say what you want. There's no plan that anything else is going to happen with it. If it does happen, fantastic. If you do end up using it for something later, then that's great. But it's really important to just have this very safe space. Now, I want to just drop a quote from one of my favorite writers before we go into one of the journal prompts. So this is a quote from Joyce Carol Oates, who's one of my favorite short story writers. Self-expression in a journal could turn into a work of art. So it could turn into a work of art, but that's not the reason that we're coming to our journaling practice. So that foundational reason is to really make that connection to the self within, to really get into a practice of just communicating without any filters, and noticing if you are judging yourself as you're writing, but always reminding yourself that it's okay to write whatever it is you're writing, because this space is just for you and your journal. So we're going to take the first writing prompt. So grabbing your notebooks, and I'll set the timer for this. We'll go for 2 minutes. I'm almost at the end of my journal, as you can see. So we'll go for 2 minutes with this, and it may be that afterwards you do want to share. So please do feel free to share in the comments below if you got an insight, you found a particular journal prompt useful. But we will write together. And I think that's really nice, because at least you know, it's not like, oh, do this, and you sort of have to make a mental note of like, oh, at some point I'm going to do this journal prompt. It's like, you're watching this video, let's do it together, let's see what happens. So this is about really getting to that space of making that connection with writing. So before we even look at how journaling might benefit our writing, we're just making that initial connection. So I want for you to firstly think about what writing means to you. If you're interested in a writing practice and improving, for me, I think it really helps to have clarity in mind as to what makes that important. So what makes writing so important? What does it mean to you? So take 2 minutes now to explore, what does writing mean to you and what makes it important? Off you go. Okay, so it may be that you want to take a little bit longer. Like I said, I will go for a page and that takes about 15 minutes. So I certainly encourage you to go a little longer with these prompts, but just for the purposes of today, so that we can do it together, I'm just going to be doing 15 minutes. Now, as I said, do feel free to share in the comments below if you've had some nice insights that have come up from that prompt. Now, for me, like I said, I'm not doing this thinking, oh, I'm writing here and I'm now going to have to share it to video. I'm always giving myself that permission. Like if I write something and I don't want to share it, I'm not going to share it. But actually, what I noticed today was that I put here, writing means connection with what's, writing means connection with what's within that the business of the day might have kept from me. So for me, that's a really nice thing that I see about my writing. I might be really distracted by the world around, but when I do open my journal and when I sit down, I just have that excuse or that reason to start looking within instead. And I put, it allows me to discover what is within that needs attention. So again, really, really important for me to be reminded about that, because I think that's what's so great about writing. When we do come to a journal practice, we start to build that relationship with ourselves. And there are parts of us who do want attention, who do want love. And so the journal is a really great space to be able to give us the attention that we might be craving or that we need. Okay, so I want to take this on to the next concept of becoming a better writer. And so, as I said at the beginning, there's a way that you want to go about this, and there's a mistake that people can make when they are trying to become a better writer. So, in the work that I do as a coach for writers and creative entrepreneurs, I chat with so many people who say this. They want to be better. They want to be better at writing. There are other areas that we might want to be better at as well. It might be that we want to be better at running our own business, or it might be that we want to be better at jumping on sales calls or networking or communicating with other people. So it might not just be writing that you want to get better at. So this really applies to any area that you're currently thinking, I want to be better in this area. And it's okay to want to be better. So what I'm about to say isn't like, don't want to improve. Like, it makes total sense to want to improve, to seek to advance our learning and our skills. But something that we definitely want to avoid when we're on this search for betterment is the slump that we can fall into with this wanting it to be better. Because if we want to be better, there's a danger that we feel bad about how it is. And that is not the state of mind that is going to enable us to put the time in to improve. So I will often chat with writers or entrepreneurs who really want to be better at something, but because they're not, they feel frustrated and they're wondering why they don't have the motivation to put the time in to improve. And that's why. Because you're making this comparison of like, oh, I really want to be here, but I'm here and that just really sucks. And so I don't have the energy to actually get myself to there. So this journaling prompt is really going to help to start to break that cycle, to put you into a better place of flow. So the first question that I will ask my clients when they talk about wanting to be better at something is, what is better? How will you know? And so here we start to get really specific. So it's not like, oh, I just want to be better because I feel like I'm crap. It's like, oh, well, being better would mean that I'm writing 500 words a day, or being better would mean that I'm finishing a chapter once a week. So that might be if you're wanting to be better at your writing, but there might be other areas that you want to be better at. So for example, if you want to be better at marketing your services, well, being better at marketing my services means that I would be having 4 inquiries for my business or my products every day. So you get really clear about how will you know when you're better, what is better, rather than just, well, better's better. Because then we start to really show the mind exactly what we want from it, rather than telling the mind, you're not good enough yet. And so you see there's a real different attitude there. One can be really demotivating, you're not good enough yet. Well, if I'm not good enough, how do I ever know if I ever will be good enough? Versus, this is what I want. And so we can get really clear about how to get there. So choose your area, choose the area that you want to be better in. And I want for you to take 2 minutes to describe what better is in that area and how you're going to know when you've got there. So let's pop the timer on for another 2 minutes. So what is better in your area and how will you know when you get there? Off you go. Okay, so finishing off that one, and of course, if you want to take more time, then pause the video, take all of the time that you need. So notice, what did you discover from that journal prompt? Certainly feel free to let me know in the comments below. It's interesting because I chose, at the moment, my thumbnails on YouTube are not doing as well as I want them to, and so that's an area that I want to improve. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take an opportunity to just do some journaling on what better would actually mean. And so the reason I wanted to share this is because sometimes we think we know. So I was like, I think I know what I need to do with my thumbnails to make them better. But actually, this is the first time that I've actually just sat down for a couple of minutes and been like, what exactly is better? And so it helped me get really specific in terms of what I need to achieve with my thumbnails and how I can go about that. So I think that's just my last comment, that the beauty about journaling is that it takes our thoughts from up here, which we have a certain perspective on, and it puts them down on the page, and so we see them differently, and that can just be so beneficial. So both of those for me today have brought insight. So I would love to hear the insights that you got from your journaling. And if you love this idea of doing the journaling together and you are looking to create a life that gives you freedom, creating, living and earning the way that you want, then you may enjoy my masterclass. It's filled with journal prompts. You're going to get tons of insights from those journal prompts. Right now it's free. You can find it in the link below. Check it out in the comments, sign up, and you'll be able to start watching that masterclass today. I think you're going to love it if you enjoyed the journal prompts that we did together today. Really hope that you learned something from today's video. Hope I've given you something new to think about in terms of journaling and improving your skills. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care till then.